Hi traders, hope you're doing well. In this video, I'm going to run through the SuperTrend EA, which I have developed for the MT4 trading platform. It's completely free to download. You can use the link in the description to get the EA and start using it yourself. So in this video, I'm just going to cover the various settings within the EA and the different ways in which you can configure it and use it according to your own preferred trading strategy. The EA can be used fully or semi-automated. So here we have the MT4 trading platform. You can see a chart here with the SuperTrend indicator where I've just run a rough back test, basically entering a sell trade when price crosses below the SuperTrend or a buy trade when price crosses above the SuperTrend, and it's closing on opposite signal as well. So you can see we have the SuperTrend here is a downtrend. So we have the sell trade there. So the sell trade is here, okay, when the SuperTrend is showing a downtrend. And when it crosses to an uptrend there, we would exit the sell trade and place a buy trade. Again, when it crosses down, you'll exit the buy trade and enter a sell trade, so on and so forth. Okay, so that's just the basic way to use the SuperTrend indicator. Personally, I wouldn't use it that way. I wouldn't be trading every time it changes direction. Instead, I'd look at the overall trend and look to time my entry in line with the SuperTrend. So for example, this buy trade here, I would not be taking simply because I can see we have the clear downtrend as the SuperTrend indicator is indicating there. I'm going to want to wait for a change in the trend direction before taking that one, if taking it at all. So what I would be looking to do is once I see there's a SuperTrend indicator showing a downwards momentum here, I'd probably just look for levels of support such as this one here and look to trade on the breakout of the support or the pullback. As you can see there, okay, so this support level is tested multiple times. There's a breakout and then the support becomes resistance. We have a nice continuation. Again, the SuperTrend indicator showing a downwards momentum as well. Okay, so this EA can give you alerts just to let you know when there is a change in trend direction, perhaps if you're already in a trade and you want to exit when the SuperTrend changes direction. I've also included multiple other indicators with this. We've got the parabolic SAR, so this is built into the EA as well. It can just be an extra confirmation for the trend and also support and resistance levels. Okay, I do have videos and articles on the parabolic SAR indicator as well as the SuperTrend indicator you can watch and check out to see the various ways in which you can implement them within your strategy. Okay, so that's just for extra confirmation. And also we have in this Expert Advisor the popular stochastic oscillator. So this is handy because we can look to trade in the direction of the trend using the SuperTrend indicator and time our entry on pullbacks. Okay, so when the stochastic has a pullback to this extreme overbought level here, anything above the 80, it suggests that the market is losing momentum to the upside and we may see a move to the downside. Okay, vice versa, if the price is below this 20 line here, it can suggest that the market is perhaps oversold and there might be a turnaround to the upside. So in this instance, we want the SuperTrend indicator to be showing us a downwards market as we've got here. Just move this out of the way. As we can see here, downwards market. Okay, and then we can look for a pullback with stochastic. Arguably here, this isn't quite the 80 line, but it's close enough. So we have our pullback. You look at the chart, you can see it. Just zoom in, there's been a pullback there. The parabolic SAR dots here, they're also suggesting a downwards trend, and this could be a good level of support. And we can look to trade that breakout there. And in fact, if we go back even further, we can see this is a very strong level of support that has been tested on multiple occasions here, 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 here. Okay, so this SuperTrend suggesting downwards market, parabolic SAR, downwards market, stochastic is reached the extreme area. And also, importantly, the stochastic is trending in our direction. So for a downwards trade, we want the green to be below the red line. Okay, so the green line, the main line, below the red line, the signal line for a sell trade. Or If it's a buy trade, we want the green line to be above the red line, and ideally the stochastic to be in the oversold rather than this overbought area here. Okay, so that's one entry opportunity you can use there. We look for an extreme. So we have a stochastic extreme here. So this suggests we know we're in an overall downwards trend. SuperTrend indicator is telling us that, as our eyeballs can as well. Just by looking at the chart, you can see, just zoom out here, you can see there's a clear downwards trend. So we're not going to look to take these buy trades. We're going to ignore these buy trades, whether that's with the stochastic, the parabolic saw, or the SuperTrend. We're just looking for sell trades to the long-term downwards trend here. Okay, I'm trading with the trend. You can obviously trade how you wish, but my preferred way is to trade with the overall trend. Importantly, this EA does also have multiple time frames on there, which you can choose from, which I'll get to in a minute. So when we're trading with the trend, obviously we're only going to take short trades in a downwards trend. So where was the extreme? Okay, here. So we have the extremely overbought scenario there. Okay, the super trend is red. However, the parabolic saw is below. But then we see the break here. Okay, so the break of the parabolic saw line, parabolic support and resistance does stand for that, which coincides nicely with this level of support. Okay, here, arguably, one may draw it like this. This is a 1 hour chart. So I find these levels of support resistance tend to be more reliable than, say, a 5-minute chart, 50-minute chart. I much prefer the longer term chart time frame, so the 1 hour, 4 hour, daily, weekly, monthly. They contain more price data, and therefore I find signals tend to be more reliable. Okay, I'd much rather catch big moves on big trends like this than just try and pick up a few pips here and there, but each to their own. So going back to this level of support, super trend is down. Okay, we've got the extreme stochastic scenario here. In fact, we have a wedge formation as well. You can see this wedge formation here. We've got plenty of bearish candlestick patterns. You've got a 2 inside, 3 inside down pattern. Okay, spinning top as well. Inverted hammers. There's lots of suggestions. You see the market's making these lower highs. Lots of suggestions that we're in a downwards momentum. Okay, so we could take that breakout there. We just zoom out and just see either that entry there or the pullback here on that breakout. You can see this is a strong downwards trend. Each move, is over 300, almost 400 pips. Zoom out again. In fact, if you had taken this move, over 600 pips based on that. Okay, we did use some effort there. It was technically semi-automated, okay, because we were eyeballing the charts for the entry. But you can set the EA to fully automated. I'll get to the settings now. So here we have the EA settings, all of which you can change and customize completely free, as I said, link in the description. If you want to download it and play around with it, just obviously make sure you do on a demo account. Okay, until you get used to how it works, find a way in which you can implement it within your own trading strategy. So we have pop-up alerts, email alerts and SMS alerts. So basically, if you set these to true, you can be alerted when there is a signal. So for example, you get an email saying there's a buy signal on the euro dollar 1 hour chart, or sell signal on the pound dollar 4 hour chart. Just depends on what chart you're trading. You can use this on any trading instrument in MT4, depending on what your broker provides, and any chart time frame, so you can simultaneously track as many charts as you wish. So you could have like 20 different instruments that you want to follow, and you don't need to scan or eyeball the charts yourself, because the EA will do all the legwork for you. So you can get pop-up alerts, email alerts, and SMS alerts, which are of course handy if you're away from your platform and you just want to be notified when there's a change in circumstance, perhaps to look to open a trade or manage an opening position as well. Okay, use trading if set to true. It won't just send you an alert, it will place the trade for you and manage it according to the settings that you set here. Trade long, trade short, self-explanatory. Do you want the EA to buy and sell, or just do either? Days filter, so this is days of the week the EA can send signals and place trades. hours filter. So these are the GMT hours it can run. This is handy if you only want to trade particular trading sessions. Perhaps you're looking for momentum on the euro dollar during the London and New York sessions, or perhaps you're looking to scalp on the Asian session. You can just adjust the hours there depending on your individual trading preferences. Magic number, so this is the order ID set to 1 and 2 by default. This is handy if you're running other expert advisors on the same platform and you want to differentiate the trades between them so they don't clash. Maximum spread, maximum slippage. Okay, the EA will not place trades or send signals if the spread or slippage are greater than these values, just there to avoid unfavorable market conditions. So the money management aspect here, open orders limit. This is the maximum amount of open buy and or sell orders that can be at any time. Set to 1 by default. Lots. Okay, this is the position size to trade. The EA will only use the lots if you have user risk set to false. Okay, if you set user risk to true, you can enter the risk percent to use here, which is calculated based on account free equity. So set to would be 2%. Of the account balance, depending on what the stop loss is. So stop loss and take profit. Okay, self-explanatory. So the stop loss and take profit in pips you can use for the trade. Personally, I'm not too keen on fixed values of either of these, but if you want the EA to place a trade for you, I would have something there initially, but then I'd look to just modify it myself. The reason being, okay, let's just say we had a 50 pip stop loss and 100 pip take profit. If we go back to our chart here, and we had taken, let's look at this breakout trade. If we took that breakout trade and we had the 50 pip stop loss, that would be stop loss up here, which isn't too bad, and in fact is on the other side of the super trend line, which some people may use as a trailing stop, which is fair enough, you can do. However, I'd be looking more at a recent high, so I could easily have a 20 pip stop loss on this breakout here. If price starts to turn around and comes up here, I might be considering that, you know, after this consolidation there, perhaps this downwards move's not going to play out. I much prefer to cut losing trades short and let winning trades run. Talking of letting trades run, if we had the 100 pip take profit and we took this breakout, 100 pips is around here. Okay, so it looks like a good profitable trade. We'd be happy with that initially. However, as we know, this is 100 pips and this move was over 600 pips. So you'd be quite disappointed if you exited prematurely here, which is why I don't really use a take profit as such. Instead, what I would do is just trail this move downwards. So after the initial entry, when price falls down around here, I'd move the stop loss from above the high to break even. And then as price continued to fall down, I just move the stop loss above the recent highs. So there, and just trail it above the recent highs. Okay, so that way we can maximize good trades when we take them rather than having to re-enter time and time again, because the more times we re-enter, obviously the higher the chances are of getting the entry wrong. Okay, that being said, if you did exit prematurely around here, there are other opportunities to enter, like this breakout here. Okay, there's a level of support along there that becomes resistance. You could have taken that breakout there, obviously using the stochastic as a pullback indicator. You know, there's ample opportunities to enter on this downtrend, but ideally we want to get in as early as possible, and certainly don't want to sell, you know, near the low, just as we don't want to buy near the high. Okay, in terms of trailing stop, there is a break-even and trailing stop option implemented within this EA. Just can set it to true or false. So break-even point is in pips. Once this point is reached, the EA will move the stop loss to break-even, and then the trailing stop is set to true. The EA will trail the price by this trailing gap distance here, which can be a good way to lock in pips as the trade moves in your favor. Close percent, so if you want to close a percentage of the trade each time the break-even point or trailing gap is reached, you can. So if you set to 20, it'll close 20% of the trade each time until the minimum lot close is left. So for example, if you have that set to 0.5, if there's only 0.5 lots left in a position, the close percentage will just not close anymore. So just leave the rest to run. So this is good if you want to say close 50% of the trade once you reach 100 pips, break even point, and just let the rest run. You can do so. Okay, there is this option here, close opposite. So this basically means when there's an opposite trading signal, you can close an open trade. Okay, now here's the nitty gritty of the EA, which is the strategy that it uses. So the parabolic SAR, as I've shown you on the chart there, price is below sell, price is above buy. That's how it works in this instance. Okay, so we've got the M1 is 1 minute, M5 is 5 minute, M15 15 minute, M30 30 minute. We've got the 1 hour, the 4 hour, the daily, weekly, and monthly chart. So you can set them to true or false on any of these charts. Okay, so the EA will just check the position of the parabolic SAR on each time frame you have set to true and only take a trade or send a signal if the conditions are met. You've got the step and the maximum settings of the parabolic SAR. You can adjust there as well. So the stochastic trend, this is the trend element. The main line, green line, has to be above the red line for a buy, or the main line, green line, has to be below the red line for a sell. Again, you can choose all of the different time frames to true or false, as well as the stochastic settings. Show the default 533 there. Stochastic extreme. Okay, so this is the stochastic would need to be above 80 for a sell, so it's in the overbought zone, or below 20 for a buy, so it's in the oversold zone. You can combine indicators, so you can have, the SAR set to true on the daily, the stochastic trend set to true on the H1, and the stochastic extreme to true on the weekly. You can just configure it depending on your own requirements. And the SuperTrend. Okay, so this is the SuperTrend indicator, obviously. Again, you can choose true or false on each time frame that you wish to use the SuperTrend indicator. And you've got the different periods, ATR periods for the SuperTrend, the multiplier, and the mode as well, which you can experiment with. These are the default settings, which I think work just fine as they are. Mainly, I would only use the SuperTrend as a rough filter for the direction we're going to trade in. I'm not going to use it for entry or exits personally when it changes, because I just feel you can get chopped in and out of the market too much. And also, I'll be completely honest, I don't really need the SuperTrend indicator to see that that's a downtrend. I could remove all these indicators and use my eyes to see that the market's falling there, and literally trade the chart naked. Yeah, that doesn't mean without any close on. That just basically means without any indicators or anything, we can see that the market's fallen, and we can just see support there, breakout to the downside, support there, breakout to the downside, support here, breakout to the downside, support then becomes resistance. Okay, and so with good money management, we can capture moves like that. Anyway, however, I do appreciate that expert advisors can make your life easier by helping to spot such opportunities on the chart, and also for identifying pullbacks and perhaps helping to manage opening trades. For instance, you may know there's a downwards trend here, but you're waiting for a pullback to enter. You could set the EA to send you alerts when the parabolics when the stochastic is extremely overbought, because you know that, okay, there's been a pullback in this downwards trend, so I'm going to hop on and look to time my entry. Okay, so that's the different elements of the EA and a few ways in which you can implement it within your own trading strategy. Just going to cover optimization quickly. So optimization is basically something you can do in the MT4 strategy tester to get a rough idea of how various combinations and settings work. They're not 100% accurate, and they are based on historical data, so there's no guarantee of what's going to happen moving forward, of course. So what you do is you've got the Super C here in the strategy tester window. This is in MT4 here. You select the expert advisor, so you've got SuperTrend EA selected there, the symbol that you wish to test, euro, dollar. We can use the open prices model, as that's what the EA uses for backtesting faster. However, you will want to switch to every tick to fine-tune your settings, simply because this will use more accurate intra-bar data, which can be important when it comes to things like break-even, trailing stop loss, take profit as well. But open prices is good for rough testing. Use date. This is the date the historical data we're going to test over. So we'll test over the last 8 or 9 months or so. Okay, time frame, we'll test the 1 hour. and the spread, we'll just use the current market spread. Be careful if you do backtest in the strategy test on the weekend and you use current market spread, it might be higher than usual. And you just check optimization because we're running optimization. Go back to expert properties. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reset them. So we're going to select all of the settings now that we wish to optimize. Okay. So we want use trading set to true, obviously, because we're running a back test and we want the EA to place trades. We'll trade long, we'll trade short, we'll trade all the days, all the hours. Don't need to mess around with the magic number, the max and spread or slippage. We'll trade, let's say, one standard lot. Stop loss. So what you do is if you want to optimize the setting, you just click the box next to it. So see that, just click that. And then what do you want to start optimizing? So we'll start with a 25 pip stop loss. We'll go up in steps of 25, and I think we'll stop at 50. So this will optimize a stop loss of 25 and 50, because we're starting at 25, we're stepping at 25, and we're stopping at 50. Take profit, as I said, I don't really like to use fixed levels, but just for the sake of this video and showing you how to optimize, I will. So we can say take profit, let's start at 50, go up in 50 steps, and we'll stop at 300. So this will optimize 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, and 300. Close opposite, we can click that and we'll optimize that to true or false. For the break even and trailing stop, we can optimize those. We'll do the break even from 25 to 50, say. Trailing stop, true or false. We'll optimize from 25 to 50. The close percent, let's say you can close 0, 25, and then stop at 75. And we're trading one standard lot, so the minimum to close will be, let's just say 0.25, up in 0.25 increments, and just stop at 1. Okay, so now these are the time frames we want to optimize. So as we're going to test on the 1 hour chart, we'll just focus on the 1 hour chart, 4 hour, daily, weekly, monthly. So we'll check the parabolic SAR, true or false on all of those. We'll leave the settings as default. Stochastic trend, we'll check 1 hour, 4 hour, daily, weekly, monthly as well. Settings default. For the extreme, we'll do the same. So these are all the ones we're checking, are the ones we're going to optimize to true or false, along with the other settings we've selected. And basically, Strategy Tester will do all the various combinations and show us the results. So we'll just do SuperTrend, true or false, and all those time frames, and just leave the default settings. Click OK. Okay, optimization checked, and hit start. Now, depending on the speed of your computer and how many settings you've selected to be optimized, and the progress bar you can see going along here. And if you go in optimization results, here you will see the results of the various different combinations that we have selected. Okay, so different stop loss, take profit, closing opposite, and all the time frames and that. Yeah, and so we just let that run. You can sort by the profit, the total trades, the profit factor, expected payoff, and the drawdown in monetary or percentage value. So you can just click profit, and that will sort the results by profit. Okay, and this way you can find different combinations of settings to see which work best, depending on your trading preferences and the instrument and the time frame that you've selected. Okay, we did have genetic algorithm selected, which basically is a quicker way to optimize, because the strategy tester will throw away combinations of settings that it doesn't think will produce favorable results. If we had that unchecked, we would do every single possible combination, which could take an age, again, depending on your computer power and the amount of settings you have selected. So as the more results come in, we can just keep sorting them by profit. You'll see, for example, this one's quite decent. It's got a good amount of trades, 177, a good profit factor, reasonable drawdown, but that can of course be managed by using a smaller lot size or risk size if we were using a risk percentage. And the stop loss is tight, 25 pips. It is closing on opposite. It's got break even and all the settings there. Okay, so we just let that run. I'm not going to run the whole thing, so it'll just take a while. So what I will do is, whilst it's running, I'll just reiterate one thing about, you don't have to use this fully automated. Okay, you can just have it, even if you don't want to optimize, you just want to use logic and set logic being, okay, send me an alert when the super trend on the 1 hour lines up, is true with the stochastic pullback and trend. So then you'd get an alert when the super trend is, let's just find another example here. Okay, so you could get an alert when the super trend is moving up, okay, and the stochastic is extreme, which would be here. And there you go. So you would have got an alert here if you were using the super trend and the stochastic extreme. Okay, and then what you do, you just fire up your chart and you look at it and you say, okay, so the super trend is suggesting up. This is extreme. I'm going to look for a breakout of that resistance and trade in the direction of this trend. The market's making these higher lows. So we're in a clear uptrend, okay? We've also arguably had a triple bottom pattern there and a breakout to the upside, okay? We've got this 1 hour chart again, so you can see there's some strong resistance here. And then as the price breaks the parabolic sort level there, coincides nicely with that resistance line. That would have been a good entry. Okay, but you could have taken manually. Just use the EA to help alert you and make you aware of it. Again, you can track multiple pairs at once, so you can spot these opportunities anywhere. Tight stop loss for the 1 hour chart time frame just below the low, 20 pips and 150 pips profit potential in that move there. Okay, various different ways you can use it. So let's go optimization results, sort by profit. Let's go all the way to the top. Okay, so great. Lots of trades, good profit factor. So you double click it, and what that does, it will load those particular settings into the EA for you. Okay, and you can click save if you wish to save the settings. Perhaps you're going to call it Eurodollar 1 hour optimization test. So you can load it at a later date. And then you can run that individual result, have a look at the graph, and there you go. So that's what, from optimization, the top performing one, or arguably, depending on what you're looking for, you can obviously filter down and find something with a higher profit factor, less trades, like that. Double click it, run that. Okay, still from the low to the high, it's still relatively decent. Even higher profit factor, but less trades. Again, it just really depends on your preferences, but for the sake of this video, we'll just stick with the top performing one in terms of profit. And it looks great. Okay, so let's package it up and sell it. No, let's not do that, because what we've just done there is curve fitted or over optimized the EA. Just for reference, if you click open chart, it will open the chart and show you the trading activity, okay, based on that particular set file. Okay, so what we've done is over optimize the EA. So we've basically done a random combination of settings to give us these results. But you've got to bear in mind that's only over the last 8 or 9 months on the Euro dollar 1 hour chart. Okay, it doesn't mean that these are good settings. They're going to work on every instrument, every time frame, and 10 years moving forward or 10 years backwards. And I'll just emphasize that by going back another year on the data, using the exact same settings, and let's see what happens. Okay, doesn't look so great. Okay, it's not terrible, but it wasn't until around where our optimization started, which is around this period, is when the graph really started to go up. And why is that? That's because the settings are optimized for that particular data set. Okay, so that's curve fitting or over optimization. Okay, it doesn't necessarily mean these are good settings. It's just random in nature. So some may argue, well, click optimization, and why don't you just optimize back another year and get some settings that are good for the past year? But then you can keep doing that. You can go back a year, you can go back 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. You can find good settings for the last 20 years if you want. It doesn't mean they're going to be good settings moving forward. Okay, because you're just over optimizing or curve fitting for the data set that you are using rather than using logic. Okay, logic being the example we used here, which in my opinion requires some human input. You can get the EA to send you signals, okay, send you an alert. As I said, in this instance, you could have been alerted to SuperTrend is showing there's a strong upwards trend and there's been a pullback on stochastic. Great, hop on, look to see if you want to place trade or place a pending order above this resistance line here. and do it that way. Or, you know, you could have had it taken to take the stochastic trade on the extreme and then check the chart when you have the chance. You can take the trade and send you an alert that the trade's been taken, and you can just check to see, you know, manage the trade accordingly from there. So the optimization is running. We added an extra year. Let's just see. Okay, we've got some decent results coming in. Okay, but again, what we're doing is we're just over optimizing for the particular data set that we're using. It doesn't necessarily mean these are good settings moving forward. They can not work at all. And, you know, I think a lot of traders get their hopes up. They optimize, they just basically throw in so much, you know what, at the wall and hoping some of it sticks, when in reality they're just going to be disillusioned and they're only getting curve fitted results. So we'll just stop that there. We'll sort by profit. So going back to what I said about genetic algorithm, you see if we go to testing, if you have this genetic algorithm checked, the strategy tester will not do every single combination if it thinks it won't produce good results. If you uncheck that, it will do every single combination, which can take a lifetime depending on, again, power of your computer and how many settings you're testing. And you can choose the optimized parameter as well, leave it on balance, but if you prefer profit factor or drawdown, you can optimize based on those. And in the optimization tab here, you can check any of these to filter results and just change them by results that meet any of these requirements. Okay, for example, maximum drawdown, you can change it to a level that you only want to see results that achieve that maximum drawdown. Okay, I'll leave them unchecked because I like to see all results, good and bad, just so I know what works and what doesn't roughly, again, because this is backtesting. It's not 100% accurate. Okay, so if we just saw these results, let's double click that one. It looks good. We'll run it. Double click it, loads of settings. We can run the individual set. Okay, not too bad. You know, there's lots of stagnation here, but overall from the bottom to the top, yeah, it's a good return. However, what have we done? You guessed it, we've over optimized. We go back another year. In fact, let's go back another 3 years and run the same settings and see what happens. Not good at all, right? And we probably know where optimization started. I'm going to say around here somewhere. Well, yeah, if not here. So this is where optimization started as the graph started to creep up. Before, not good at all. And that's because we only optimized for this particular data set. So basically the point I'm trying to get across is don't necessarily rely on over optimization. Instead, just use the EA in a way that can help you, perhaps semi-automated trading, or even if you want it to place trades for you, make sure you're using logic behind it and not just random combinations of settings. Don't get me wrong, sometimes you will strike gold and find the combinations of settings that happen to just be fantastic on multiple instruments and timeframes, but I do think still that manual, that human intervention can help improve things further, especially when it comes to things like money management, because you can have the best entry strategy in the world. If you've got bad money management, okay, you're not going to have a successful trading strategy. Again, as I like to cut, using trades short and let winning trades run. Link in the description to download the SuperTrend EA along with many other free EAs that I have coded. Help yourself. Hopefully you find them useful. Hopefully you found something useful in this video as well. Appreciate you watching. Please like and subscribe for more, and I will catch you on the next one. Take care.